Okay. The very first thing I want to do is thank you so much for what you've already done for the animal shelter, getting rid of the gas chamber, euthanasia, and in the new contract, getting rid of the trading to Class B dealers. And this was so important to a lot of people, and I sincerely thank you for doing that already. Early December, when you gave the DeVries a 6-month contract, we started thinking that the county would be in trouble if the DeVries decided to retire. And so at that time, we actually got together to try to work out a proposal to start our own shelter. So we've been working on this since early December. The first thing we did was hire a lawyer who is experienced with working with animal shelters, and so that he would be able to walk us through the proper steps and the regulations, the federal regulations, the state regulations, licensing requirements for running a dog shelter. At that time, I asked him if it would be appropriate to use the 501c3 status from my rescue organization. He said that would not be appropriate. So we became incorporated for our organization, and we have 501c3 status specifically for the animal shelter. We also hired a website designer. One of the things that I think is very important is when I look at other shelters' websites, just having a nice layout with very nice pictures of the animals. Obviously, our #1 goal is to get these animals adopted, and so that was one of the first things we did. After we had talked to those 2 people, 5 of us went out and started looking at shelters. We tried to find county shelters, private shelters. We tried to look at shelters that people had built themselves so that we could both learn from their mistakes and see what they did right. We talked to about 15 shelters. We toured them from top to bottom. They showed us everything they had. They would open up the refrigerator and show me what was in there, you know, what medications, what brands of cleaning supplies, just everything really. We looked at their drain systems, their ventilation systems. They talked to us about their budgets. We learned about their procedures for animal intake and quarantine, how they cleaned, how they organized their volunteers. So after we did all that investigation, we got together and decided what we would consider would be an appropriate plan for Mecosta County and what would be reasonable for us to actually accomplish by July 1st. We talked to an architect. We also talked to the construction group at Ferris. They are willing to help us. This would be a project for the students. At least part of this could be a project for the students. We also have tradesmen who are either willing to volunteer services or give us services at reduced rates. And so what we came up with for our shelter for Mecosta County is we would like this to be a no-kill shelter that is not literal. What that means, I will give you my definition. What that means to us is that if a dog or cat is suffering or injured, we will certainly euthanize it. And if after trying to rehabilitate an animal, it is unadoptable, we would euthanize it. So a working definition for no-kill shelter is that you don't euthanize an animal to make room for another animal, or its time is up. Our shelter will have room for 25 dogs and 30 cats at a time, and we will also make use of foster care. Our hours of operation will be 9 to noon on Monday through Friday, 5 to 8 Thursday evening, and 10 to 1 on Saturday mornings, and by appointment, of course.
Do you have this written down for us? Or?
I do. Kevin said I didn't have to give it to you yet.
Urso?
Then I'm going to have it. Okay, carry on.
Yep.
We also investigated recommended makeup for a board of directors for an animal shelter. We have 7 members on our board. That includes a CFO, a lawyer, an educator, a fundraiser, a grant writer. We have 2 members of MC Cares. We have a woman from Canadian Lakes because we didn't want to all be based out of Big Rapids. In addition to our board of directors, we have a foster care coordinator, we have a groomer, we have dog trainers. We have people who are experienced with working at volunteering at dog shelters. And we have 2 people who will do the training for sedation and euthanasia. We also have a vet of record. Our preliminary design. How about I'll give it to you when I'm down here. Can you see this okay?
Yep.
Should fold it that way. This is a steel pole building, 76 by 36. You can see that this is the dog area. There are kennels with indoor and outdoor kennels. And then this is the entire cat area over here. Like I said, we have room for 25 dogs and 30 cats here. If we needed after-hours drop-off, the animal control officer would come in here and we'd always leave a kennel available for the cats and a kennel in the quarantine area for the dogs. So there are 2 quarantine areas, one for cats and one for dogs. Our architect could proceed upon approval here, and this would take 8 to 10 weeks to complete this project.
Where?
I'll tell you. Yeah. Do you want me to answer now?
Yeah, that'd be great. Sure.
Sure, why don't I answer that now? We have been offered property that is on the south side of Green Township. I wouldn't have known that it was necessarily Green Township, so I think it's right close to Green Township and we're Big Rapids Township, but it is zoned agriculture. Honestly, we can have as many acres as we want there. We would probably have 5 acres. It's on good roads, easy access. Most of our volunteers would be coming from Big Rapids.
I'm okay with that description.
Blacktop, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
Road.
Yeah, you don't need to tell us it beyond that.
Yep.
Obviously, protect your donor. That's
Okay,
fine.
are you fair with that? Okay. And then, just a front view,
Okay.
there will be fencing around the entire back for an exercise area for the dogs. It is required to have fencing around the outdoor kennels. You have to have double fencing if they're unattended.
Yep.
So that fits the requirements for that. I think, yes.
Yep. And if I recall, and the kennels are a permissible use in ag, right? They're not required to have special use permit?
I believe that to be the case, but let me double check.
I'm just talking about zoning.
Yeah.
I think that kennels are automatically included in ag.
Because you asked me that question.
I asked
answered
you
it.
that, and you said if it were zoned agriculture or forestry.
Yeah,
then-
ag or
ag,
Yeah,
yes.
that we'd be good with that.
Okay.
So, and this one is agriculture, so
Yeah.
that's what we've been looking
I
for.
know I'd researched that.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. Because it's Green Township, we don't have to deal with other zoning committees, like, I think Big Rapids has its own
Right,
county
right,
zoning,
yeah.
so this would only be the county zoning requirements.
Correct.
I'm not sure what questions do you want to ask questions about this now, or shall I have you look at this, or?
Yeah, if you want to
Yeah.
pass that, that would be great. Yeah. I would never claim to be an architect or understand the design of shelters. So
Well, yeah, if you ask me
that's
too much, then
Exactly. Well,
I'll be parroting stuff, but,
really the concern for, just quickly from my standpoint, is that access for the animal control officer.
yeah.
That's really, but the rest of it is, it's your show, you're
Yeah,
operating it, right?
I mean, he'd have his own key, so
Yeah.
obviously he's locked, so, and then there'd be a cat place and a dog place.
Okay,
In the quarantine area, so he just drops it off
okay. Go ahead, I'm interrupting.
No, I really don't know how much detail I should go into about that building. I mean, we've researched, yeah, okay, oh. Okay, so,
This is good.
So really, probably what you want to know is it would take 8 to 10 weeks to complete it. I was told to bring 6 copies of this. So.
That's
Yeah, that's all right, don't worry about it. There's,
That's all right.
got some hangers on.
It's AFAG is used by right, C one is a special, yeah.
Yeah, by right. The term I was looking for in zoning is by right, and it is, it's by right, in other words,
Right.
the kennels are listed as one of the things that's allowed in the district. It's not a gray area, it is listed, so.
Okay, good. So what we're asking for is a $50,000 repayment.
I'm sorry, $50,000.
$50,000 upfront, so,
Okay.
a prepayment.
Okay.
We are asking for $65,000 a year, and I'm going to be honest with you. I was trying to the best of my ability to come in here with a proposal that would be $50,000. I know that's your budget. We couldn't do it. We couldn't do it and provide the services for the cats. And our CFO has been poring over these numbers and trying to get them, and this is an honest, sustainable business plan where we can provide the services that you're asking for. So you can see on there, then subsequent years would be reduced by $10,000 to make up for that prepayment.
Oh, okay, all right, I understand, I did it.
Okay? So our CFO has analyzed all these numbers in detail, and he has determined that this is a sustainable business plan for Mecosta County.
This includes the cost of the building.
That's all we're asking from you. Yep,
You own the building, we do not own the building.
that's right.
Okay.
Okay, I see, these numbers, that makes sense.
Okay?
Yeah, because I first looked at it, but I understand we're discounting that prepayment on the annual payment.
Yes. Okay? The reason that we think that we are the right organization to take on this endeavor is that we have proven to you that we have commitment to the well-being of dogs and cats, and we have proven to you that we want an animal shelter from Mecosta County that everybody can be proud of. We have experience with our rescue organizations with both dogs and cats. We have experience with stressed animals. We have experience training dogs to get them adoptable. We have experience getting and training foster care. We have creative ways of fundraising. With our rescue organizations, we have proven strategies to get these animals adopted. My rescue organization has 100% success getting our animals adopted. My rescue organization has 30 to 40 members in it who would all be willing to help at the animal shelter. And we have many, many other people who have come forward to express their willingness to help us with this. We feel like we have laid the proper foundation to actually accomplish what you're asking us to do by July 1st, because we've been working on it since December. I am the one who always comes before you, but I am surrounded by many, many people who have energy and commitment and passion and will get this done. We have all the people who are in place that would be qualified to run all the aspects of the shelter. If we are chosen, we will work with all people who share our commitment. And we want to thank you for this opportunity. This is a great, great time for Mecosta County. There are a lot of people that are excited about this, and this will be a community endeavor. Many, many people will get organized to accomplish an animal shelter that we can all be proud of.
Us these things, what do you mean you've proven that to us? Because you have come with a concern, you feel like you've proven it? Or?
I feel like I have because the Mecosta County Residents for Shelter Pets has worked very, very hard to make these changes at the animal shelter. Not to start our own animal shelter, but to make the changes for our county.
Would it be possible to get a list of these people that you say are on, you said you have over 40 people, then you have a number of people that are are supportive of you, are on board with you. I would like some names, maybe. Are they all incognito at this point?
Okay, I have to answer this honestly. We are in a position where we're essentially groups against groups for this. And there are people, you know, sure, I'd be happy to give you the list of names of my rescue organization and all the volunteers. You know, it's just, there are people who have told us they will volunteer particular things, and I guess I don't feel good about telling you some names. If you want a list of all the people.
Your concern is there's people that work with both groups, and they may fear offending somebody because they said they work with your group and they're a member of some other group. That was your idea?
I think people are so worried about offending. Bessie, you know, you put it exactly right. It's just, this is not a good situation for people who really care about what's going to happen here. And
okay, I guess, okay, you know, and I know you and I know Dawn, but I guess based on a gob of emails I've gotten in the last 6 months from people that are beating up on the cross-county commissioners because we're horrible people, and it comes from Animal Rescue People USA. And I just would like to see real names that are telling me they're behind you, that's all.
when you say that, do you mean they're coming from outside of Mecosta County?
Oh, yeah, across the county, all the people like you, I've heard several say, well, people all over the state are watching us. Yeah, I know they are because of some of these emails we're getting from the organizations that are affiliated with where they're getting these emails from. You know, they're getting their information. So, I don't want to go into, you know who I'm talking about, Kate. You know what's happening here.
Okay.
So, I just would like to see some good, solid names that are behind your organization, that's all.
And even if you don't give them all, just,
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
could
just
maybe
a
list
sample.
6 or 8 or 10 that you know won't be offended by us knowing
Right.
that they're your supporters.
I'll tell you my board of directors, how's that?
That's cool.
That's a start, right?
Cate Arroe, Doug Myron is the CFO.
How does he-
Beg your pardon?
how does he spell his name?
Miron.
Okay.
Betty Fry, Frye.
Yeah.
Did you name that?
No, I said it, I recognize that name.
Okay. Dawn Dempsey.
I've heard of her.
Really?
She is famous.
She still live around
in
here?
these parts.
Her husband's famous. No.
Yeah, I haven't seen her in a long time. Is she
Yeah.
around?
Yeah, her husband's a little more famous than she is, but
No.
Yeah, but he ain't better looking.
Yeah.
he's a nice looking man. Cynthia Glazier. Susan Grant. Roberta Klein.
Okay.
You mentioned everybody's in a competition here, and that's correct to a certain degree. What's the possibility of organizations working together? If you got the bid, you know, could you work with other organizations? How would you plan on or anticipate doing that?
I don't know what any other people's proposals are specifically. I do not personally have to be a leader in this in any way. And if anybody else has a proposal I can support, I would be behind them. I would not be next to them, I would be behind them. And, you know, that's the best way I can answer it.
Kate, are you going to, if you do not receive the bid, are you going to build this anyway?
No,
So it wasn't your intention to build one, even though Ken was still awarded the county contract?
we started this when he was given the 6-month contract. And so that's when we thought, you know, we're gonna be in trouble if this doesn't go past the 6 months. And so we do not want to be in competition with any of these other groups for an animal shelter. I am so happy about the changes that have been made. with the not trading to Class B dealers and the gas chamber euthanasia, and that's going to happen with any of these groups. And so without me ever even being here, I'm happy with what's going to happen.
Okay. Right.
One more question.
Go ahead, yeah, go ahead.
If this were to go to a private resident or private contractor, would the groups, do you feel your group would work closely with that, with a private kennel if you were given the opportunity?
Can you tell me what you mean by that?
Another Kennedy's.
Yeah, if it,
Another, say we picked a person just like Ken was, a private individual.
Isn't that what we all are, or not?
well, I don't think so, I'd see these as a group.
Oh,
I'm
you
saying.
mean a one-
well,
you
let
mean-
me just
Yeah,
say
we-
that-
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's one on the table from Creighton, in Stanley, from Creighton Kennels.
Yes?
And if we were to choose to go the private contractor again, if you were given the opportunity, would your organization work with them closely on going down, volunteering, pet exercise, helping with adoptions?
I have to be honest, because I do that and it gets me in trouble. I'm going to be blunt. When I saw the list of these 4 people, I thought, I was ecstatic to see one of these people, and I thought, what a natural choice. And I don't know any of these people, by the way. I called somebody and I asked them kind of what their plan was. And they told me what their plan was, and I said, the reason I'm calling, and I understand you wouldn't want to talk to me, but the reason I'm calling you is I would like to support whatever you're doing. And so we talked just a little bit, and then when I asked if it was going to be a no-kill shelter, this person said no. That's very important to me. The definition that I gave you of no-kill shelter, not literal.
Right.
And
Yes.
because of that, I said, I'm really sorry, but I can't. And I said, I would have dropped out and supported you. I would have been happy to do that and gotten 100% behind it. And I honestly can't do that.
Okay, thank you.
That's fair, that's very
Just
fair.
to hitchhike on Bill's point of a private individual, if you did not support them, what would you do? Continue what you're doing now?
Well, I have a rescue organization. I would continue with my rescue organization, which actually will happen anyway, because it's kind of a different matter.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yes, so whatever happens, I still have my rescue organization, and I will continue to have my rescue organization. Maybe, are you asking would I fight against what's going on, whatever?
Not
No,
necessarily fight.
I'm done, no, I'm done.
I wasn't.
I'm done.
Okay.
Well, and I think, to be honest with you, your definition of no-kill shelter is really the definition of the shelter that I, as a county commissioner, are looking for, that euthanasia is a last resort. And I think we're pretty much on the same page there. Me personally, I'm not speaking as the voice of the commission, but I think that's clearly a definition most of us can live with.
The way I feel about it and why I was fighting about the other things is any animal suffering is not good. And leaving an animal in a cage too long is not that great either. I'm not asking for an animal to be sitting there for 5 years. That's not doing any favors to any animals. But if this dog is adoptable and we're exercising it and volunteers are interacting with it and it's just fine where it is, we're not going to euthanize it just because its time is up.
Did that individual understand
That's
what
what
you
I was
meant by no-kill?
The person you talked to understand what you meant by no-kill?
I guess we won't, you don't need to answer that. I hate to say it, because I think it's,
Well, it does make a difference.
well,
Okay,
I don't
I'll
think.
tell you exactly what this person said, is they would run it as it had been run in the past,
Oh,
which to
okay.
me, that just
So you don't like that?
were the reasons I said.
Okay, thank you.
Because basically, the euthanasia is used as a method of population management.
That's exactly right.
That's
And-
really where your hand is hung up, is that you don't like that idea.
That's right.
Okay. A couple quick questions I got.
Trent.
Trent, yeah, go ahead.
I do have questions. First, is 25 going to be the maximum you're going to have on dogs and 30 on the cats?
Well, we will use foster care also, so they
Okay.
won't be in the building. We have been talking quite a bit to another shelter that puts more than one dog in a kennel at a time when they obviously get along and they'd actually be happier that way. So if they're, you know, I'm talking about kennels, and so if there were, let's say, two sisters, you know, that came in, or there were two dogs that would have loved to play with each other, we would put them in the same crate, that would give room for more dogs then.
Do you plan on being licensed to the Michigan Department of Agriculture as
Yes,
a
of course.
shelter or as a rescue?
Shelter, animal shelter, that's
So
what
you
all
are
our
gonna be a
paperwork
shelter.
is, yes.
So when people come to see dogs, you're just gonna have pictures on the wall and say, this dog's in foster care, this dog's in foster care?
Oh, the ones that are not at the shelter?
A lot of people in this community, in this county, don't have internet, they don't see the dogs, they actually go down to the shelter to see the dogs. That's why I'm saying if they're in foster care, how would people be able to see these dogs?
The reason they would be in foster care would most likely be because they needed to be rehabilitated for some reason, or because of health reasons, or maybe because of age. And they would be going there because they really weren't adoptable right then. And so that is most likely, or in the case of we're just overflowing and maybe somebody else. So yes, there's always pictures of them, but I mean, obviously, most of these animals are at the shelter.
But if you had, to answer his question, if you had an adoptable dog, because of overcrowding, was
Yes,
at a foster, you'd have some arrangement to get the dog viewed by the person that was interested in adopting it?
absolutely, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Do you have any idea how many dogs I bring in a day?
A day? No. How many?
8 to 10 sometimes in the summer, a day, every day. 25 cages, and you mentioned that after hours, you're gonna have like a cage where a quarantine cage where I can bring in a dog. I bring most of my dogs in after ken is closed, and some of them, sometimes there's 5 dogs, and maybe there are 5 pit bulls that can't be all put in 2 each kennel. See, I haven't talked to you at all about any of this, I got lots of questions. That wouldn't work.
So he has a system right now of 5 open kennels for you?
Right now, if I was to take 5 dogs to Ken, there would be open kennels for him. Yeah. He'd also be available to where if there has been times where Ken's filled right up, and I call him and say, hey, I'm bringing in 2 separate dogs from 2 different places, meaning that you don't want to put them together because the dogs don't know each other.
Yep.
And I've called Ken, and he's met me at the shelter, made arrangements, moved dogs around.
Sure.
Your definition of no-kill kind of concerns me.
Okay,
Especially
we have
with
a
cats.
question.
Yeah, I'm
We're getting off what we're
sorry.
supposed to be doing. If you have a question, ask it.
That's it.
Okay. Anybody else? I got a couple questions. First of all, are you strictly a local organization?
That's in Mecosta County?
Yes?
Yes.
You're not affiliated with any national organizations?
No.
Okay. You know why I asked that?
I know what you asked it. Now, we have to do grant writing to make this.
Well, and
Okay.
if you get a grant from someone, what I want to make sure is, this is a local organization controlled by local people.
100%.
Okay, so the next question I have, would you have an objection to the county board of commission? I should ask this to the other people too. Having the county board of commissioners have a board member on your board, even if it's ex officio, not a voting member, but rather someone would be there at the board meetings and be able to, you know, keep track of what's going on and report back to us on the operations.
Sure.
Okay, we do that at a lot of organizations. For
Yes.
example, I sit on the community mental health board in Mount Pleasant. You know, we have people on just a wide variety of boards, and the reason is that it helps the communications flow back and
That's a
forth.
great idea.
In fact, Kevin, the other two are here, maybe they could do a head nod, yes or no.
Yeah, I mean, that cool, you guys cool with that. Even the private one's a little different because they don't have
That's
a
a
contract, but they, you know, that's a little different because there's a direct reporting. And then, of course, I asked you the same question, the financial reporting. You know, you give us a financial report on a quarterly or yearly basis.
Sure.
You know, we did this, we got this, here's where our bottom line is, that kind of thing.
Sure.
Okay.
So, yeah, obviously, sure.
And we have one other question. And you were fine, the other is the fact that this is the rate is a 5-year contract, and at the end of 5 years, I mean, whatever the rate is, that's what it is for 5 years.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. That was it. I think I had one other, but I can't remember what it was now.
Adoption fees, you didn't talk about fees. You plan on changing anything with fees?
No, $35, I think.
Oh, I did, that was a good one. Are you going to have any hired staff?
One person, yes.
Okay.
My experience with working with all volunteers is that I'm the one who has to pick up the slack. So we would just like to have one person who will always cover hours and then 100 other volunteers to help.
Yeah, I think that's good, and I think both organizations, all the organizations put that forward very well. You have to have some paid staff. It's just pretty hard to do otherwise.
Yeah.
And there was my questions. Anything else, anybody?